Good evening, I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Supervisor, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the November 25th, 2014 Town Board meeting. Of course, we're meeting tonight, Tuesday night, so that everybody can have a good evening tomorrow night getting ready for Thanksgiving. I would note, as always, for not only for those of you that are here in person, but also those watching at home or streaming on the internet, you can get a copy of our agenda and all the supporting materials on the back table here in the auditorium, or if you're watching on TV, or especially if you're online, you can go to the town's website, townofbrighton.org, and all of those materials are posted there for you to review. In case of an emergency tonight, you will hear the emergency alarm system activated. If you hear that, please leave the auditorium immediately, leave the building immediately, either through the door to my right, turn right, go down the stairs and out the rear doors of Town Hall away from the building, or you can go out either of the two entrances in the back of this room, out the front door, down the front steps, and again, away from the building. We'll start with a pledge to the flag. Councilmember Warner, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start, as we always do, with our open forum. The open forum is an opportunity for anyone to address the town board about any matter, whether or not it's a matter on the agenda tonight. Now, I would note that if you're here to address an item that is the subject of a public hearing, and we do have one public hearing tonight, the proposed temporary amendment to the town's noise law for work that RG&E is performing on the Kendrick Road substation area, and you'd like your comments to be a part of the record of that public hearing, please wait until that time. But anyone else that would like to address the board, and that includes folks at home. If you're at home, would like to call in with a comment, you can do so. Our number is 303-3060. Someone will take your call and pass your comment or your question on to us. Again, that number is 303-3060. And if you're deaf or hearing impaired, you can call in during the open forum on our TDD line. That's 784-5205. Again, our TDD line for comments during open forum, 784-5205. And we welcome your participation in the meeting. So is there anyone here that would like to address the board? And if so, please come to the podium. If you would, state your name and address. Please direct your comments to the board and not to other members of the audience. Please be courteous and try to keep your comments reasonably brief. Yes, sir, come on up.
Hi, I'm Mark Armstrong, live on 222 Norman Road in the Westfall Heights Neighborhood Association. What I bring with me tonight, I have the results of our petition, the informal petition for the Westfall Heights sanitation sewer system. So please announce that we were able to get 109 signatures, or 79 homes out of 112. That brings us to 70% of the people that did sign the petition in support of continuing on the project. Also found under there that we only had 7% of the people that actually declined that we were able to get to. So personally, I did not get one person, and I did about half of them out of there, the signature that did refuse to sign it. Pretty clear that the people of the Westfall Heights that we want a sewer, we understand environmental issues of living next to a wetlands out of there. In fact, many of us, including me, I no longer call them a swamp. I mean, we could appreciate living next to a wetlands out of there. But, you know, we do have septic tanks, and we are being surrounded by the wetlands. Clearly, we just cannot justify the high cost of these sewer systems in a low property value area. From the feasibility study out of there, we got an average cost of $1,600 per home, which is way above the New York threshold of $721 out of there. Realistically, out of this is we're going to need probably even up to $100,000 of money in grant money or something to get this project going out of here to make it viable for this. If, at $100,000 a year, we could at least bring it down to close to $700. Even that's still questionable. Could we afford that for 20 years? Our first thought was to get an amenity line with U of R and the South Campus expansion program out of there. But we really had to stop to think, is this really realistic, this request out of here? When we really, is it realistic to request out of here when the town of Brighton is getting a 45-cent amenity per square foot amenity for any new buildings in the South Campus project out of there, and we've got no indications that the town of Brighton is going to be willing to help us out on our sewer system out of here. And you also have to ask, before I go out and we ask for Brighton out of there, is this a function of our town government that they can help us negotiate with Brighton, U of R, if they could get some money out of the package out of here. So at this time, the Westfall Heights Neighborhood Association, we formally requested the town of Brighton to include the funding of the Westfall Heights sanitation sewer system to any amenity package that they do receive from the town of Brighton. You know, it's difficult, like they ask for the money out of here. We don't know the grant money out of here. We don't know how much money out of here. We can't get specifics or anything because there's another whole process, as we've been working with Mr. Gunyon on there, that we go through. But we do feel that the South Campus expansion, the amenity money, that's a West Brighton project out of here. This is, and I don't know what other key project, any other project that's more important in West Brighton is to start to get the sewer systems in our neighborhood. So at this time, I'm not sure who I present the petition to.
You can present them to the deputy clerk, Dave Marcus, who's here.
There you go.
And we will formally add those to the communications that are received and filed at the meeting. And I appreciate your coming in. This is really the continuation of a process that started with some neighborhood meetings that the town has had with your neighborhood. Mike Guyon, our town engineer, has spent a lot of time, of course, presented a couple of possible alternatives, and we appreciate your continuing to show interest in this, and
I do believe this is a 50-year project in the town of Brighton out of here. And thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board during the open forum? If not, and we're still a little bit before 7:30, what I think we'll do is we'll get started with the business portion of the meeting, and we'll hold that one public hearing until we get to 7:30. So can I have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the petition that was just submitted as an additional matter of communications?
So moved, Bill.
Second.
And actually, while we're doing that, I'd like to add another item to communications. I will discuss this during matters of the supervisor, but it's correspondence that we've received from the Monroe County Department of Transportation dated October 30, 2014, relating to the intersection of Elmwood Avenue and Lockdeville Boulevard. So if we can add those two to communications and motion to approve the agenda with those two added.
That's correct.
Chris?
Accept it too.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novus.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. A motion to approve and file town board meeting minutes for the November 12, 2014 town board meeting.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novus.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Again, we'll, for the moment, pass the public hearing. We have one bid. Chris?
Bill, I move that we approve the solicitation of proposals to provide professional services for the initial phase of a farmer's market and multi-use facility project in accordance with the resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town.
Can I have a second?
Second.
This will authorize the request for proposals to go out to review the possibility, get some design specs for a possible winter farmers market facility using existing Buckland Park structures that are there from the old farm. The town has received grant money. We've spent some time looking at alternatives, looking at alternative locations. This will give us some greater guidance as to design options and frankly the cost of such a project. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just one matter, Supervisor, on this resolution and all of the resolutions in tonight's packet. I had forgotten that Councilman Vogel was not going to be present, so you'll see at the top of each resolution is indicated the members who are present, Councilman Vogel's name is there. It should not be there. So I'd ask Councilman Warner, Councilman DePonzio, if you'd accept that as an amendment on this, and then perhaps we can just modify the rest of them.
And for any certified resolutions we have to provide, obviously we'll make that change as well.
That amendment's acceptable.
I accept the amendment as well.
And as you said, throughout the evening, we'll note that that's the case without requiring a further amendment each time.
I think that's appropriate. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer.
Aye. Communications. Can I have a motion to receive and file these?
So moved. Second.
We have a couple of items here. One of significance is a communication from the State Department of Transportation concerning plans for milling and resurfacing work along 441 from East Avenue in the town of Brighton to, well out into Penfield, Parrington, and into the village of Fairport. There will be work on 250 and 31 as well. But the portion that's relevant to us is Route 441 from East Avenue to the Brighton-Penfield line. And that work will be going on in the spring and summer of 2015. And this is just advising the various communities of that fact. Now, we also obviously just received the petitions. I made reference to correspondence from the County Department of Transportation concerning the corner of Elmwood Avenue and Lockdeville Boulevard. The DOT had received two requests, one from myself and one from another Brighton resident, to review traffic conditions at the corner of Lockdeville and Elmwood. They have reviewed that, and just as a traffic signal was placed several years ago at the corner of Lockdeville Boulevard and Westfall, the county DOT has indicated their plans to install a traffic signal with a left turn at the corner of Elmwood Avenue and Lockdeville Boulevard. They plan to do design work during 2015 and do the actual construction either in 2016 or 2017. Hopefully it'll be 2016. Obviously, there'll be designs developed, and we're going to want to make sure, working with the county DOT, that those designs are made available to the public so everybody can see what's going on. But as we've seen, traffic on Elmwood Avenue, and I know that the chief can tell you that his officers spend significant time doing traffic enforcement on Elmwood Avenue. I think this will be a good opportunity to to bring a little more safety to traffic movements at that intersection.
I agree, Supervisor. We have seen that area to be problematic. You spoke of the other Brighton resident that wrote a letter of concern. He and his wife were in a motor vehicle accident, pretty serious motor vehicle accident, and wondered what more could be done to make it safer. And combination, his letter, your letter, and some of the data that we were able to provide show that there is an unusual crash rate there, and hopefully this traffic control will alleviate that problem.
What takes a year or more to work out a design? I mean, don't you just,
I'll turn to the expert. I think there's a capital expenditure and then the roadway design and.
I think it isn't really necessarily a matter of timing, Louise. It's more a matter of when the monies will be funded to do the project. The design itself, as the supervisor and I have talked, the traffic signal itself was a pleasant indication from the county for something that's been probably needed for a while. And kudos to the supervisor for following up when he had the opportunity with county DOT staff at a few events that he was able to talk to them. The addition of the left turn lane, Bill and I have talked, that may require acquisition of land or expansion of the right-of-way to be able to put that in. We do not know yet. So that could take some time as well. So I think it's more a matter of funding, not necessarily design. It's not probably going to be something that's an order of magnitude as some of the other projects, but you need to get it into the CIP budget just like we do with projects here.
would it be going across Elmwood, or would it be just on the corners, the signal itself?
We'll have to see what the
Well,
design looks
yeah,
like, but it will be at the Lottsville.
Yeah, typically the county
Intersection.
uses mast arms that are hung, the significant poles that they're mounted to are mounted outside the pavement, and the mast arms extend over the travel lanes. So they will be situated, appropriately for each lane that it's trying to govern.
Why
as far as the
I
signals
ask
go.
is because when it's really windy out, Elmwood Avenue is like a draft place, and I know signs have blown over when they're on Elmwood and so forth, and I didn't know if it was wise to put the ones that are just hanging over Elmwood Avenue.
Well, if you mean by hanging over, it's either the mast arms or the guy wires. And the mast arms tend to be probably steadier in the wind than the guy wires do.
Okay.
So we look forward to that, and look forward to working with the DOT on that. We appreciate their responsiveness. With that, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion about any of these? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Committee reports. Louise, Parks, Recreation, and Community Service.
Parks, Recreation, and Community Services met yesterday, and I'll give you a quick overview of what we talked about. Matt Beeman informed us that the softball fields and all the fields are closed for the winter, but there's fall cleanup on the trails and leaf mulching. Firewood is being cut for the lodge fireplaces. Renovation will be done in the town park lodge, and the Veterans Memorial is being cleaned up. There's a fall cleanup at both sites, and they're cutting back perennials, and it's a general cleanup. Corbett's Glen, there's ongoing landscaping and trail maintenance being done. For continuing education, it was reported that registration for the winter 2015 is open. It was published in the fall classes, and they are combining the fall and winter programs in one brochure this time. So if you've thrown away your catalog, you can go online at the continuing education webpage and find the classes that are there. Council Rock, which is the primary school, and French Road Elementary is holding a winter wear drive from December 1st through the 19th, where items can be dropped off at their lobbies. Brighton High School is hosting a Red Cross blood drive in the Brighton High School cafeteria on December 13th. The student reps reported that the Brighton School swimming and diving team won the divisional title this year and placed second at the second at the sectionals. And the Friends of Rachel, which is a club hosted for kids, they had Purple Week, which was an anti-bullying campaign that encourages students to mix up and socialize with different people, and that was a big success. They also collected money for My Friend's Place, a shelter for homeless youth. And at the Model United Nations, Brighton team won Best Delegation. Let's see. On December 8th, the town of Brighton is again hosting a Veterans Luncheon at the Carmen Clark Lodge at the Brighton Town Park. And if you are a veteran who has served in the military, you're welcome to attend this free event. There will be food and beverages, entertainment, and reminiscing and recognition for your service to the country. That, again, that is on Monday, December 8th at 11 o'clock at the Carmen Clark Lodge. The library has told us they now have an app, MCLS Mobile, for Monroe County Library System, which lets you locate and search your library catalogs wherever you are. And all you have to do is be a card holder, and you can locate books, movies, music, and so forth. The library has received a $15,000 $15,000 in New York State Bullet Aid under the auspices of Senator Joe Robach. This is be used to purchase a library document station. And they also recently approved a whistleblower policy. Yes, they need it there too. And 82 people attended their last English literature thing where it's called Book Sandwiched In, where you read a book and you have a discussion. So their attendance at all their programs is still up very much, and it's all going very strong. Also wanted to say that Mark will talk about the recycling for the pharmaceuticals. He did finally get approval for it to continue. And we have tentative dates, but we'll let you know next month exactly when it will be.
Thanks, Louise. I particularly want to highlight and thank Rich Wagner and his wife, who, along with a couple of our other park staff, really have done a great thing over the years with this Veterans Luncheon. It's traditionally on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, but because that's a Sunday this year, it's going to be the 8th. Veterans get gift cards, some of them struggling a little bit. There's winter clothing that can be made available, and it's just a real nice event. We don't let our Fire Marshal Chris Roth anywhere near it because we really do get so many people, and these are veterans in need, and we owe them such a debt. So the opportunity to say thank you on Pearl Harbor Day is a great thing.
And if you have any winter clothing that you want to donate, you take it over to the rec department. They are going through everything and setting it up. And usually it's not just for men anymore.
Thank you, that's right.
They had all the winter clothing that was brought in for women last year were taken. So shoes, socks, coat, not just coats, any kind of clothing, and the food is wonderful. It's donated by Wegmans, and it's a hot lunch. So if you know any vets, tell them about it.
Yeah, and they're also partnering with the Brighten Your Wardrobe program of Jewish Family Service, which also has some winter clothing. So that's good teamwork. Thanks, Louise. Chris, Finance.
Bill of Finance met last Tuesday, the 18th, and as is typical, all the matters we discussed there are on tonight's agenda, with the exception only of a general discussion regarding recruitment of a part-time assistant fire marshal for Chris Roth. But the next meeting, and that'll be subject to further discussion. The next meeting will be next Tuesday, December the 2nd, in the Stage Conference Room, and the public is encouraged to attend.
At 3:30 in the afternoon?
At 3:30 in the afternoon, thanks.
Sure.
Sorry, the rec board is not going to meet again until the January, which is the last Monday in January. I can find my date.
Thanks.
Okay, got it here. Second here. I'll tell you when I find it.
We'll give you a minute.
It'll be a minute. I don't have the dates. You can look it up.
All right, well, why don't we move on
Move
to
on.
public safety? Jason?
Yes, the Public Safety Committee has not met since our last town board meeting. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, December 9th. We meet at 8 o'clock in the morning in the lower level community meeting room, and the public is invited to attend.
And Public Works? Jim is not here. I don't think we have we haven't had a Public Works.
I believe Councilman Werner is the,
I am the,
Right, and.
I believe there's a meeting on the 1st of December.
Right. No, it's actually been moved to the 2nd of
it's moved till Tuesday.
December.
Tuesday the 2nd.
Tuesday the 2nd.
At 9 o'clock
Correct, Bill.
in the morning.
Same
Not
time,
been a meeting
same
since-
location.
And there has not been a meeting since our last meeting. Councilmember Vogel is the chair of that committee, and he'll be back to chair that meeting.
9 o'clock in the morning.
26.
January 26th is the date of the next Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. Thank you, Louise. We have no old business. Chris, reading and approval of the claims, new business.
Bill, this evening I reviewed claims totaling $3,319,261.56. Amongst the various claims, the most notable were some $2.5 million in retirement contributions to the police and other public employees, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield contributions all told. That's the most significant portion of it. The Brighton Memorial Library had books and AV materials and related items of some $23,000. One of the big items for Mr. Keefe is the arrival of our street sweeper for $190,900. We're looking forward to using that. And also, baby sign language classes were conducted for $192, and the participants, of course, actually paid for those services as well. But I find the claims to be in order, and I move that they be approved for payment.
second,
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mayley.
Aye. And it's now 7:30, so let's go back to the public hearing. As mentioned, we have one public hearing scheduled for tonight. It's concerning the, get the right folder here. It is concerning the proposed temporary amendment to the town's noise law for the Rochester Gas and Electric project. David, has the legal notice been properly posted and published in this manner?
Yes, it has, on November 13th in the Brighton Pittsford Post.
Thank you. With that, I will call this, declare this public hearing open, and we do have representatives here from RG&E, and welcome.
Correct. Good evening, Supervisor Mayley, members of the Town Board. My name is Robert Brenner. I'm an attorney with the law firm Nixon Peabody here on behalf of RG&E. With me this evening from the RG&E team in the second row is Kerm Ahmed. He's the project manager for the Station 251 project. And behind him is Terry Lattimore from RG&E, who's a public affairs representative. Just wanted to follow up on the last meeting that we attended on November 12th. And before I give a brief overview of the project and the request, I just wanted to, again, thank the Town Board for scheduling this public hearing so quickly and allowing us to have dialogue with the public regarding this request. It's a real urgent request, and we appreciate you guys scheduling this so quickly for us. As we mentioned at the last meeting, my colleague Tom Greiner and I submitted 2 letters in connection with the company's request for a temporary amendment to the noise ordinance to do after-hours work at the Station 251 site off of Kendrick Road. The first letter was dated October 31st. The second was November 4th. And in connection with those letters, we appeared at the Public Works Committee meeting on November 3rd, discussed the request at that meeting, got some great feedback from the folks that were in attendance at that meeting on behalf of the town, and put together a formal request that we submitted on November 4th in connection with our need to have a public hearing this evening. And we appeared at the last meeting on November 12th, gave a brief overview of the project per the town board's request at that meeting, and summarized the request, which I'll briefly summarize again for you this evening. As you know, the Station 251 project is an essential project here in the town of Brighton, as well as it's also essential for structure and capacity offload in the neighboring city of Rochester for some of the critical facilities that are in the city relating to emergency medical care. Station 251 is intended to offload Station 33, which serves the town of Brighton and the city of Rochester, and Station 251 will provide that needed capacity that I mentioned. The reason for the request, the noise ordinance, is that the company needs to complete certain work in bringing that station online, and they're nearing the end stages of the project right now. And there's certain transmission line work that's detailed in our application package dated November 4 that needs to take place between the present date and to when the actual substation is energized. Most significantly, the transmission line work that needs to take place can take anywhere between 14 to 16 hours once started. And it's critical that once that work is started, that it be completed, because the transmission lines, as the work is done, one of them will actually come offline. So that creates some weakness in the system, and to the extent that that line doesn't go back online, the system, is susceptible to weakness. So that's the reason the company is here this evening requesting a temporary amendment to the noise ordinance allowing for extended work, because they really would like to be able to complete that critical work once they start it and not have to wait to begin the work again the next following morning and have the system be vulnerable during the evening hours. So just to briefly go through the application materials that we did submit, as I mentioned, Exhibit A summarizes the need for the project that I just referenced, the 14 to 16 hour time frame that's associated with some of the work that needs to occur. Exhibit B details the means and methods that will be used to complete that work and some of the equipment that will be used. Primarily, there's cable pulling equipment, and then there's lighting that will be used after hours. And the decibel level, according to the cut sheets that are included in Exhibit B, will not exceed 75 to 85 decibels, which we believe is consistent with the noise on the neighboring expressway immediately adjacent to the project site. And then in Exhibit C, for your consideration, is a short form environmental assessment form in connection with our request. And we also included a copy of the long form environmental assessment form that was submitted when the project went through the zoning process here at the town last year. So with that being said, I just wanted to discuss a few additional housekeeping items. In Exhibit B of our application booklet, per some feedback we received at the Public Works Committee meeting, we included contact information for two individuals. Those individuals, their cell phone numbers have been provided to the town. They will be accessible at all hours while the extended work is going on if the request is granted, and they'll be able to address any concerns that the town or any members of the public have during that time. In addition, based on some feedback we received from the town, as we indicated in our materials, the company would be able to ensure that backup alarms are turned off during the extended work period hours, and that flagmen are provided in connection with the fact that there wouldn't be backup alarms. And the company is also willing to comply with any other reasonable conditions that the town board may see fit. So with that being said, we'd be happy to address any additional questions the town board may have, or any questions that those folks in attendance here this evening may have of us.
Thank you. Why don't we open it up? Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to address the town board, or that has any questions for the RG&E representatives that are here? Anyone from the town board? I will just note that I did have a meeting earlier today with Mr. Lattimore, who's here, and also with Carl Wiebeck from RG&E. This was one of several topics that we had an opportunity to discuss, and I do appreciate Terry, yours, and Carl's willingness to come in and, as you do on a regular basis, keep us posted on matters. I would also note that I This work has been going on for a few days. If you'll recall from the last meeting, we did make a finding that there was urgency to this project and authorized work to begin pending this public hearing. I did make some inquiries today, and it appears that we have not received any complaints about noise during the work that's been done so far, and I'm pleased to hear that.
And Supervisor, if I may, the company has not received any complaints either.
Thank you.
Where will the number be available if people wanted to contact the job site and raise any issues? Is it on the town website, or?
I don't know that it is now. This is public information. Do you have a problem if I mention these numbers over the air right now?
No.
Okay. The primary contact would be Bob Willis, and his number is 716-572-3340. And the backup contact, should Mr. Willis not be available, is Doug Butch, and his number is 585-705-9236. Those are both cell phone numbers, and the intent, again, is to satisfy our requirement that we have when we approve these, that there be a staff personnel available at the site that can be reached should there be a noise or other problem.
Doesn't appear that there are any anticipated. I see that the nearest residence is some 0.3 miles away,
That's correct, yes.
and the amount of noise generating equipment is fairly minimal, particularly given that it's right alongside the highway.
And those homes are probably in or, either on East River Road or in the Westfall Heights subdivision neighborhood, and we do have a couple of folks from that neighborhood here tonight, so.
Based on the proximity to the expressway, we don't think that the equipment that'll be used during the nighttime hours would contribute substantially to the noise in the area.
And we're talking about allowing it after 7 o'clock during the weekdays and 6 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays. How late do you think it'll actually go, Mr. Brent?
It's going to depend on the particular work that's being done that day. I think from the company's standpoint, there may be days where there's no after-hours work, but there may be days where the after-hours work goes well into the night. It's just going to depend on the particular scope of work that's taking place that day. And some of the precise items that need to occur, we've outlined in exhibit, I believe it's B of the application booklet. There's a proposed schedule there of the type of work that may be occurring. That schedule, of course, though, is subject to change based on weather. And just as a sidebar, based on the recent weather they had in Buffalo, some of the crews got called off of this project, and they were sent out there, to restore power for folks out that way. So there's been a bit of delay in the schedule as we presented it, but we did speak to the company, and they still feel that they can complete the work as we presented at the last meeting by the end of December.
Thank you.
Just a couple points. One is, on the point you just made, actually, the local law that we have before the town board provides until the 25th of December, not the end of December. Is that a change that you need until the end of December?
December 24th, correct? Yes, I think December 25th is acceptable. Thank you.
Okay. And the other matter involves typically a written notice is sent to homes or property owners in the area. As drafted, the proposed local law provides a requirement for sending a letter to property owners, residential or commercial, within 1,000 feet of the project. So I guess the question is for the board, do you want to keep that requirement in the proposed local law? Do you want to remove it altogether given the geographic setting of this project? Or do you want to expand the distance so that it requires notice to some of the homes in the Westfall Heights neighborhood?
Is there a time period? Do they have to be notified so much time before they start?
Well, it says just prior public notice of the project.
And in this
by
case,
sending
we
a
did
letter.
make the finding of the urgency, so the work has
We did.
begun. If,
Yeah.
if we send to 1,000 feet, it is a very small number of property owners, but I believe there will be some, and I think the company can work with Tim's office. That's normally how we would communicate, particularly those contact phone numbers.
Correct. That was why I had brought the point up, because there was a concern as to how those phone numbers would become known, and one of the ways is through the letters that are sent out.
Yeah.
I think if we sent it to the residences alone, that would suffice. I think that would have the greatest impact.
But the residences are certainly more than 1,000 feet from this project.
Some are within.
Oh, some are?
Some are within, but, yeah. But not, much of that neighborhood is outside 1,000 feet. I believe, well, we did say 3/10 of a mile, and that is more than 1,000 feet, isn't it?
Well, that's why
Well,
a runner would know those distances. 1,000 feet is
more like 2/10
less
of a
than
mile.
3/10 of a mile.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we do have the head of Brighton Neighbors United here, or I'm not sure if that's still your formal title, Judy, but, and we do have some representatives from the Westfall Heights neighborhood. Maybe what we can do is simply make sure we get a mailing out to the president. Even though the residences are more than 1,000 feet away, maybe we can get a, note out to the president of the Westfall Heights Neighborhood Association. I think I know who that is, and you do have an email list. And we'll get that to both of those. We have her contact information as well from the last West Brighton meeting. So why don't we plan on doing that, and that will more than.
My point is, what do you want to do with the proposed local law? Do you want to leave it as drafted? Do you want to change it in some way? Because as drafted, it says, send a letter to property owners within 1,000 feet of the project site, which is fine to leave it as it is. I just want you to be doing that knowing that that is the requirement you're imposing. That doesn't mean you can't send additional notices as the town, or RG&E could send additional notices on a cooperative basis. But I'm asking what we're requiring in the local law that we're going to be taking action on.
And I think the primary property owners within 1,000 feet are the university and RG&E and the town of Brighton and the county of Monroe. So why don't we leave it in, and we'll do the additional communication.
So if there's going to be additional communication, it's going to be done on a, I'll call it
basis.
voluntary basis.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Yes, come on up. If you'd come up to can you come up to the microphone so that they can hear? They're watching on. No, I need you to come up because
So we have
it's
it
on
on the
TV,
record.
and so it's on the record.
No, is the work gonna be confined just to the substation when you pull the wires, or are you gonna be working down on the right of way?
So work will be confined.
If you could state your name, please. I'm sorry.
Ram Ahmed, I'm RG&E project manager.
Thank you.
So to answer the gentleman's question, the work will be confined to the substation primarily.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Any further questions or comments from the board or from members of the audience? Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, then I declare this public hearing to be closed. And you have a proposed resolution, which does include a proposed negative declaration under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Can I have a motion, please?
Bill, I move that we authorize the proposed temporary amendment to the noise law for RG&E work on the Kendrick Road substation in accordance with the resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town, with the amendment of the deletion of Mr. Vogel's name due to his inability to attend this evening's meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer.
Aye. Thank you all for coming tonight and for your thorough presentation. Appreciate it. We will continue with new business.
Bill, the next item was discussed at the FAST meeting, and it's to authorize the supervisor execute an agreement with Electronic Field Products to provide continued video production and cable television management services for 2015. I move that we adopt a resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town.
Second.
EFP is our current provider, and we've been pleased with their service. Mary Ann Husser, my assistant, is the primary point of contact, and it's been a good working relationship. We thank you.
And they're the same vendor and same price, so that's
Yep.
that's great.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Now we have a number of board reappointments and appointments for 2015. Louise?
The next matter is to authorize the reappointments of Dennis Conley, Elaine Vitone, and Michael Zobel to the Parks and Recreation and Community Services Advisory Board effective January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2017. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio. Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. I'll let you just keep going, Louise.
Okay. The next matter is to authorize the reappointment of Mary Scarponi as a member of the Architectural Review Board effective January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2017. I move on this resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye.
The next matter is to authorize the reappointment of Andrew Cappy to the Brighton Memorial Library Board of Directors effective January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2019. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye.
The next matter is to authorize the reappointment of Dennis Mites to the Zoning Board of Appeals effective January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2019, and to authorize appointment as chairperson effective January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2016. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye.
The next matter is to authorize the reappointments of Rochelle Bell and Eric Williams as members of the Sustainability Oversight Committee effective January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2017. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. These are 8 of the many community volunteers that have stepped up and continue to step up to serve Brighton as members of our various volunteer boards. I want to thank all of the people that we're reappointing, but also all of the people that continue to serve on these important committees and boards. You really provide a service to the community. In some cases, you're acting as advisors to ourselves. In some cases, you're hearing matters that members of the community are bringing before you. They can be tough decisions, and you, in all cases, work diligently and fairly to try to reach the right result, and we are much appreciative of that. Next matter, Jason.
Next matter is to authorize the appointment of a volunteer intern position to the Sustainability Oversight Committee, effective January 2nd, 2015 through June 30th, 2015. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
You have correspondence on this. Any discussion?
Bill, this is a great opportunity. We are looking to engage a volunteer, unpaid intern to help the town and the committee, the Sustainability Committee, implement the Climate Smart Community initiative. And we're going to help, the University of Rochester is going to work with us to provide this intern, and we look forward to this assistance.
Yeah, that greenhouse gas emission inventory is a very important part of our really early stage work as a climate smart community. Of course, at the last meeting, we received that wonderful thank you card that's out in our lobby, thanking the town of Brighton for becoming a climate smart community. This intern, as you said, Chris, will be performing really vital work in support of that undertaking. So,
Why is this one effective January 2nd, not the 1st?
probably because they're not going to be working on January 1st. It's just it's an intern, so.
We'll cut their pay for that one day. Cut their no pay for the one day.
Further comments, questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Bailey.
Aye. Jason.
The next matter seeks to authorize approval of an appointment of a part-time on-call school traffic guard subject to a 52-week probationary period effective December 1, 2014. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
This would authorize the appointment of Stephen Botcher. This is a part-time on-call position, so unless there's someone that is ill or for other reason can't show up, this person will step in and only gets paid when he actually works. It just helps us in our management of our crossing guard position and avoids having to use police officers, which we have occasionally done in the past before we started using this on-call approach. We have a motion and a second. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner. Supervisor Bailey.
Aye. Give you one more, Jason.
Okay, the next one seeks approval to use proceeds of seized forfeited property funding to purchase a video security system for the public safety wing of the town hall. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Mark, if you could comment a little on this.
This is a project that will improve the, although it says public safety wing, it's primarily the police department, interior and exterior, with a video-based system. Pretty much all law enforcement agencies have this. We had this at one time when the building was first renovated in the early 1990s, and our current system does not operate, so contacted the Department of Justice. This facility upgrade is authorized approval, and they have given their approval to use funds for this project.
So this comes out of our seized property funds, and this is to reestablish that video system.
Actually enhance it. It brings what we had years ago to, this will be an internet-based system, and a number of public facilities use the vendor that we were recommending, and I think it's the best on the market.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Bailey.
Aye. Chris?
Bill, the next item is to seek authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with the General Code Company to provide a software upgrade to existing Laserfish software program. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town.
Second.
Any discussion?
Bill, this was discussed at length at the FAST meeting, and this Laserfish program allows us to scan in documents, and old documents as well, so that we can eliminate a lot more paper in the town hall.
Because we're an existing customer, we get a significant credit, and so the price is right, too. Suzanne, anything you want to add to that?
No, just that I've used it myself many times, weekly, and it's very helpful, saves time.
And we'll be adding the number of licenses authorizing more users of this system because it is of so much value. So,
But it provides both storage and access, and perhaps the access is the greater feature.
Yep.
We can get to our documents much quicker, and they're searchable, which always fascinates me that you can take a visual image and make it searchable. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Chris?
Bill, the next item was discussed at the past meeting, seeking authorization to transfer funding in the amount of $1,125 from the highway snow and ice removal account to another account within the highway department, as well to the highway machinery maintenance equipment account. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town.
Second.
And this will enable the department to purchase 5 portable crane lifts. Good.
Those will, help our guys, obviously lift items on the job and perhaps protect their backs.
Chris, that's an understatement. As we discussed at Finance, these are pretty versatile, and one of the things they can be used for is the assistance to get the plow blades and wings on the large trucks that you take off when you're not plowing, so you have to get them back on, and it certainly helps the crews, and very worthwhile, and like you said, from a personal safety and, ergonomic standpoint.
And get 5 of them for $1,100. That's, I'd say it's a modest investment for a
Right.
major payback.
I was thinking of getting one for my house, too.
Well, I appreciate, the fact that you brought that actually Deputy Superintendent Tim Anderson
Yeah.
brought this in, because I think it is important to make sure.
Tim is very proactive from the training and safety standpoint, so he's always looking out for these things, and it really does facilitate making the job a little bit easier for our crews, which is, very important.
And safer for our
Yeah, and they
crews.
do work
Absolutely.
hard. They do a great job, so.
Okay, motion and a second. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Louise?
The next matter is to approve it and accept a donation from Mrs. Marjorie Alamo for $50 to be used for ongoing Recreation Department programs and activities. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Thank you, Marge, for your donation. We appreciate it. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Chris, I'm
Bill,
sorry.
the next item also is discussed at length at FAST. This is seeking authorization for 2014 budget transfers and appropriations to reflect changes made since the adoption of the 2014 budget. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney for the town.
Second.
Discussion?
And Bill, this again is year-end housekeeping. There are items that still need to be purchased in various accounts. Some accounts don't have enough, some have too much, and this allows us to balance those out. Is that a fair assessment, or?
Pretty much, yes.
For a lawyer.
Doing a budget like a year and a half ahead of time, it's hard to know exactly where everything's going to fall.
And there will be
Sometimes we
more
want
of
it in one
these.
area and we need it in another area, and we just shift those to meet our needs.
And these accounts are quite specific in their description of the expenditures, and as you say, it's a year and a half after the fact now, and they need to be adjusted.
Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Jason?
Next matter is to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with PenFlex Incorporated to provide West Brighton Fire Protection District Administration services for the West Brighton Fire Protection District Service Award Program. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
This is continuing a relationship that we have. PenFlex has performed these services for several years. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And I think it's also actually important to note that there will be a slight change, but actually it should reduce the overall cost for 2015 because it's more of a lump sum and fewer add-on items in their current proposal. So that's a good thing as well. Okay, did we take that vote? I didn't think so. Yeah, okay. Dave, please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Jason?
The next matter seeks to authorize renewal of intermunicipal agreement with the town of Pittsford for Brighton's provision of snow and ice control on Allens Creek Road for 2014/2015. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
We've talked about this agreement in the past. It's a small example maybe, but it's a good example of intermunicipal cooperation. Both ends of Allens Creek Road at East Avenue and at Clover Street are in the town of Brighton, but there's a stretch in between that is part of Pittsford. We plow both ends. It wouldn't make sense to pick the plow up, so we do the plowing, and Pittsford pays us the cash consideration. It's based on the formula that we use to get reimbursement from the county for their,
And it
for the
has to
snow
be-
removal work we
It
do
has
for
to be
them.
renewed every year, so it should be considered new.
It's very interesting that you say that, Louise. You're referring obviously to the governor's tax freeze and the formula for deciding what fits within the tax freeze. We just had a lengthy discussion of those matters at a Association of Towns session. We continue to lobby for a broader definition to reflect the many ways that municipalities really are cooperating and trying to save taxpayers' money. So more to follow on that, but I will say that to the extent that an agreement like this, even though it's new and that it's a one-year term, because these are services we have been providing. Right now, the look-back starts at January 1, 2012. So if you count only the work that we're doing, anything that's new after that date, you're really missing out on a lot of the programs that certainly communities here in the Monroe County area, whether it's the 911 system, our use of the New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal for our property and casualty insurance, our snow and ice removal agreements with the county and the state, and with the town of Pittsford. But those are all pre-existing, pre-2012. And again, we've talked about this before. We certainly don't quarrel with the notion that we should always be out there looking for ways that we can save the taxpayers' money, including working together with other municipalities. So we would just like to, make sure that the work we've done over the years is recognized as that formula is analyzed. So time will tell. Okay, we have a motion and a second on that. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Louise?
Oh, you would.
Sorry.
And the next matter is to set December 10th, 2000.
Nope, the one before that.
Next matter is to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement and all associated documents with the Rochester Monroe County Youth Bureau for the town's 2014 youth program funding requirements. 2014?
Yes, it's actually funded retroactively. Yeah.
I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
I have to say, this is a program with the schools and where they're trying to instill in many ways, into the children about responsibility and kindness and so forth. They came up with the Brighton Believes program, and they have lots of different activities that they do for the kids.
Thanks, Louise, and thanks for working with Becky, and it's okay. It's just a bug.
It startled me.
But thanks for working with that committee, Louise. It's important work for the
It is.
for the youth.
The committee is made up of the principals of the different schools and the counselors and the social workers and some of the parents. It's really a good committee.
Good. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye, and with the board's consent, I don't do this very often, but I would like to make this next motion. And that is to set a public hearing to be held on December 10, 2014, to consider a new local law, the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Law for the town of Brighton. And I move that we set that public hearing for December 10th on the proposed local law as set forth in the resolution prepared by the attorney for the town.
Supervisor Mayle, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Second.
Supervisor Mayle, I'd just like to note that although the resolution was prepared, it doesn't appear that it was placed in the packets this evening.
Oh, goodness.
And got a copy on.
I do have, I have it electronically here,
Yeah, good.
and I don't know if it's in the clerk's packet.
I'm looking now.
I've got it right here, but I've just not.
Well, again, the substance of the motion, and, you know, we can, would be to set a public hearing on the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Local Law of 2014. That would be held at 7:30 p.m. Here on December 10, 2014.
That's correct. If it'll take 2 minutes for me to simply read the resolution for you.
Great, why don't you do that, Ken? Thank you.
Resolved that a memorandum dated November 11th, 2014, from Supervisor William W. Maley regarding the setting of a public hearing regarding the proposed adoption of a local law known as the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Local Law, and a draft of such proposed local law be received and filed. And it is further resolved that the town board hereby sets a public hearing regarding the proposed adoption of a local law known as the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Local Law for December 10th, 2014 at 7:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as it can be heard at Brighton Town Hall, 2300 Elmwood Avenue, in the town of Brighton, county of Monroe. And it is further hereby resolved that the town board hereby directs the town clerk to publish such notice as is lawfully required.
Thanks, Ken. That's exactly the motion I would like to make, and I'll accept that as a friendly amendment to the motion.
Like we do things at historic preservation, right? Right.
And
Supervisor?
the second was
I accept the
Jason.
amendment as well.
Is that meeting at noon?
No, the second meeting in December will be at noon. This is legislation that is important because the state of New York has failed to act. It has failed to act repeatedly. The State Assembly has passed a similar version of this law known as GENDA. The State Senate has, the leadership of the State Senate has refused to take a vote on it. And it's time, it's past time. This is important. It's important civil rights legislation. I would note that the month of November is Transgender Awareness Month, and that is what this law is designed to ensure, that the civil rights of transgender individuals, when it comes to employment, housing, accommodations, be not given special preference, but given equal rights, just as so many people in the state of New York and across the nation have fought for so many years. Now, a couple things that I do want to note, that it will not prohibit. For example, it does not prohibit single-sex schools. It does not prohibit schools from giving preference to, religious schools from giving preference to members of their faith in terms of admission to those schools. But it does make sure that public accommodations and public housing and public employment, public and private employment, and other basic rights are protected for transgender individuals living in Brighton, or whether or not they live in Brighton, you know, if they are in Brighton. So we'll be holding this public hearing on December 10th, and obviously there'll be an opportunity for full discussion at that time. But we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on setting the public hearing?
Will we be getting a copy of it before?
Yep. Yeah,
And will a copy of the proposed legislation be online, Bill?
Yep,
The public can
absolutely.
review.
Yep.
We have all
We
of
have-
that.
we have that, in
It
fact,
just didn't get put in paper format
Right.
today. So all of that is available electronically already.
I believe you've already sent some of us.
I've sent, yeah, it's been circulated to all of you, actually. It's meeting the requirement of the law that it be presented to the board. So,
And if you wish, I do have the draft here. I can certainly print that, or we can team up and print it. I have it on my computer, but I'm not hooked to your printer. I can
and it
give
has
to
been, but it
Suzanne, and
has
she
been
can print it.
presented.
It has been presented previously, but if you
Previously.
want to distribute it and put it in the public file, we can do that
No,
right now.
Well, let's do that, before the end of the, before we leave tonight, but it has been presented, and the requirement of the law has been met. Okay, we have motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novros.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, want to make the community aware that this coming Saturday, November 29th, the new shelter at Buckland Park, next to the playground at Buckland Park, the Mahendra and Jyoti Nanavati and Brighton Rotary Pavilion will be dedicated at 10:30 in the morning. The public is invited. Light refreshments will be available. Figure everybody's had Thanksgiving dinner. Light refreshments are probably in order. But it will be out at the new pavilion. And Tim, again, our thanks to your great team, Mark Criddle and others who did yeoman's duty in building a structure that someone described as looking like it'll survive a nuclear blast. And we hopefully will never have to test that, but it looks great. And I know the parents and grandparents that watch their kids using the playground there and watch their kids playing on the playing field will really appreciate being able to be out of the sun and out of the elements. In fact, I even heard there were people using it yesterday when it was 70 degrees. So good job, and please share that with Mark and everybody that was
I
involved.
will, Bill, thank you.
Next, I do want to talk about, a topic that's on a lot of people's minds, I know this time of year, leaf pickup. Our highway crews have been out working very hard picking up leaves, but this time of year, the volume tremendously exceeds the ability to stay on our normal one weekly cycle around the town. Our crews have worked overtime each of the last 2 weekends. They worked on Veterans Day. But it does take longer. They are sort of working their way, I know, up the Clover and Edgewood neighborhoods now, heading towards East Brighton. And we understand it's it's tough. It's frustrating when you have those leaf piles in front of your yard. I want to assure everybody that we will pick up all of those leaves, and in fact, we will be making yet another cycle through, as long as the weather permits. So I do thank the crews that are out there working very hard. We've taken a lot of calls, and we understand that. I want to, for people that aren't aware of it, our website has been enhanced with better information on just exactly where the crews are each day and where they're going to be the next day. Go to the town's website, townofbrighton.org, and click on the menu on the left side of your page, leaf and lawn debris, and a map will open up showing exactly what neighborhoods they're working in. But we do understand the frustration, and we're going to keep working very hard to get those leaves picked up just as quickly as possible. Tim, anything you want to add?
Just two things, Bill. We will probably try to squeeze in another overtime round as you and I were talking before tonight's meeting, looking
This
at the
weekend,
budget.
hopefully.
And also, just to let folks know that you've been very supportive of the overtime, and we will have more overtime in 2015 in the budget to be out there, so hopefully that will help offset some of the delays. But again, patience, and we appreciate everyone's, patience with this, because it is not an easy task. Part of being probably Tree City, USA, too.
And one last reminder, I do want to ask everybody, please, when you pile your leaves out, or your landscape lawn company takes your leaves out, please don't throw them in the street. Please keep them on the lawn or on the tree lawn between the sidewalk and the street if you have a sidewalk. We've talked about it before. It's a safety issue. There are streets right now where people are, it looks like that crookedest street in the world in San Francisco, the way people have to make a serpentine path down some of these streets. That's dangerous, not only for drivers, it's especially dangerous for pedestrians and cyclists. It's also poses drainage and stormwater problems. That can, when we get heavy rains this time of year, that can clog up some of the storm drains. So, again, I understand the concern that the leaves are going to be there so long that your grass may suffer. We're going to keep working very hard to get them picked up. I think we're getting past the peak falls of those leaves. So the crews will make this pass. They'll make another pass. But if you do have more leaves, please try to keep them on your grass. And thank you very much for your patience. And we do appreciate the people that have called and asked about it. We try to get back to you as quickly as we can when you do. Last thing I want to note is that last week the Brighton Rotary Club recognized 3 people that are no strangers to anybody that follows what's going on in the town. The Brighton Rotary awarded the Paul Harris Fellowship, which reflects a $1,000 donation made in each of their names, and in honor and recognition of their service to the community, to a former town board member and chair of our bicentennial committee, Ray Tierney, to our town historian, Mary Jo Lanphier, and to our community garden and farms market manager, who also helped out with our bicentennial, Sue Gardner-Smith. Each of them were awarded Paul Harris Fellowships by Brighton Rotary in reflection of $1,000 donations made in their name. And $1,000 doesn't begin to match the good work that each one of the 3 of them have done for the town. So as a Brighton Rotary member, I was very honored to be there, and thank them each again for all of their service. Matters of the attorney.
I have none.
Matters of the clerk or the deputy clerk?
The deputy clerk or the clerk has no matters.
Matters of the town board.
I want to make this notice for the Veterans Luncheon available for people who want to pick it up, and I'll have copies put on the table.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks, Louise. December 8th, Monday, December 8th, noon at the
11
Carmen.
o'clock.
11 o'clock at the
Carmen
Carmen
Clark
Clark Lodge.
Brighton Town Park.
And as always, we want to thank our cable TV broadcast crew for your work tonight. Thank you very much. And can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of particular people and collective bargaining?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Novrose.
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. We will not be coming back after that executive session, so I want to thank everybody. Have a very happy Thanksgiving and have a good night. Our next board meeting will be December 10th, right here at 7 p.m.
you.